and the Word became flesh and lived among us. The first movie I remember watching with my parents in a theater was the original Return of the Jedi. And my favorite part of that movie was the lightsaber. For Christmas that year, I told my parents I wanted one. And my mother, who was a devout Christian, told me that I should pray to God. So every night in the weeks leading up to Christmas, I added a petition to my nightly prayers. Dear God, I would like a lightsaber for Christmas. And my mother said that if I prayed hard enough, God would grant me what I wanted. Now let us acknowledge and then set aside some of the theological issues here. I just want you to know that every night for weeks before Christmas, I prayed fervently to God for a lightsaber. And then on Christmas morning, I opened my presents, and one of the presents was from Santa Claus. And when I opened it, there was a lightsaber. Apparently, God answered my prayers through Santa Claus. Now, I'm not sure entirely about the theology of this either. The point is, my prayer had been answered. I had gotten a lightsaber for Christmas, albeit it was a plastic toy version, and for a few days I played with it, waving it around, scaring my younger brother. But within a week it broke, and my parents threw it away, and I didn't mind. I had already lost interest. On my middle son's birthday recently, my oldest son told him, "Remember, you should open your presents slowly, otherwise the feeling goes away too fast." Opening presents slowly is a good way to prolong the excitement we get from receiving gifts. This morning, perhaps some of you have saved some gifts to open until after church. But no matter how great the presents, no matter how slowly we open them, no matter how many weeks we've prayed for them, we can get to a point where we don't really mind if these gifts, which we had looked forward to for so long, are put in the trash. We can get tired of them pretty easily. That fewer and fewer people are coming to church and fewer people are identifying themselves as Christians seems to me to suggest that even the gift of Jesus is being taken for granted these days. People are getting bored of Christianity. They don't mind seeing it discarded in the ash heap of history. I think one reason for this is that people misunderstand the gift of Jesus. It's not something you get, like a lightsaber. In the Gospel according to John, we are told that the gift of Jesus consists in this profound truth. The Word became flesh and lived among us, literally tabernacled, became a tabernacle among us. In the deserts of Egypt, after they escaped from slavery, the Israelites built a tabernacle, a kind of tent, where they encountered the presence of God. And then generations later, when kings ruled Israel, King Solomon built the temple in Jerusalem, which was a new place to encounter God. And then centuries later, as the Gospel of John tells us, Jesus became a new tabernacle, a new way to directly encounter God. And after Jesus was crucified, buried, resurrected, and ascended into heaven, it is now here, in the gathered assembly of believers, where we encounter Jesus in our common prayer and in the Eucharist. That is how we experience the gift of Jesus today. The gift is not something you get like a lightsaber. It is a reality we share. It is the reality of a repaired and renewed relationship with God. I'm going to close with this story that I think will illustrate what that repaired relationship can look like. In the movie Shine, there is a scene where a young, talented pianist named David is speaking to his patron, Catherine. This young pianist has a very difficult relationship with his father. And so he asks Catherine, this older and wiser woman, to tell him about her relationship to her father. "What was he like, Catherine?" David asks. Catherine replies, "He was forever busy in his study. 'Go away, Katie, I'm writing,' he'd always say. One day I was very young. I got so annoyed I emptied the inkpots all over his desk, and I scrawled on his work, pages of it. And when he saw it, he stood there, seething with anger. I could feel it. 'What are you doing?' my father shouted. There was this terrible silence. I just stared at him and said, 'Go away, Daddy. I'm writing.'" Catherine went on, "My father ran at me, picked me up, and cuddled me breathless. My first literary effort, he always called it. Here is a gift worth waiting for, a gift that won't ever bore us, a gift that won't grow old. It is the gift of Jesus' love for us, that after we have messed up, maybe really messed up our lives, Jesus runs to us, picks us up, and cuddles us until we are breathless. Merry Christmas.